You wake up, your head hurts, you regret everything. There's a glass of water you don't remember pouring. So you drink water, you eat something greasy, and you wait. But this is not a modern problem at all. People have been waking up exactly like this for thousands of years. And it started long before anybody brewed anything. To find the start of it, you have to go back 10 million years. Our ancestors lived up in the trees and they ate fruit. Then slowly, they started spending more time on the ground. Fruit up in a tree is fresh, fruit on the ground is not. It bruises, it splits open, and wild yeast gets into the sugar. Yeast eats sugar, and yeast makes alcohol. Fermentation, and nobody had to invent it. It was already happening on every forest floor everywhere. And that smell carries a long way through a forest. So the smell of alcohol became a signal. It meant food. Any ancestor good at following it simply ate better. But there was a problem with that plan. Alcohol is toxic. Your body has to break it down. And that job belongs to an enzyme in your liver. And roughly 10 million years ago, something changed in it. A single change in a single spot in a single gene. One amino acid swapped for another, that was it. And that one swap made the enzyme 40 times better at its job. 40 times from one letter. Suddenly they could eat the fallen fruit without being poisoned. So we didn't invent drinking, we inherited it. Which brings us to the obvious question, why does it hurt? Because a hangover isn't one thing going wrong, it's four. First, the poison your own body makes. Your liver breaks alcohol down in 2 steps, not one. Step 1 turns it into something even more toxic than alcohol. Step 2 clears it away, but step 2 is slow and fixed. So if you drink faster than it works, the poison piles up. Second, the water. Alcohol tells your body to stop holding on to water. Third, and this one surprises people, the sleep. You pass out fast and that part feels like sleep. But the deep, restoring part of your sleep gets wrecked. And fourth, your immune system joins in. That inflammation is where the aching and the fog come from. 4 separate problems all at once in one head. Although 2 people can drink the same and have very different mornings. Because there's a common version of that slow enzyme that barely works. If you carry it, the toxic stage arrives almost straight away. Your face goes red, your heart races, and you feel sick fast. People call it the flush. It isn't an allergy at all. And it also matters a great deal what you actually drank. Darker drinks carry far more of the leftover compounds from aging. Whiskey, brandy, and red wine sit right at the top of that list. But hold on, how bad could a fruit hangover really be? Not very. You'd fill your stomach long before you got drunk. For a real hangover, you need something stronger. Somebody had to make it deliberately on purpose. For the earliest hard evidence, we go to a cave in Israel. Around 13,000 years ago. The floor of that cave has deep stone mortars cut into it, and inside them, traces of soaked and fermented wild grain. In other words, a very early kind of beer. And these people were not farmers. Nobody was farming yet. They were hunter-gatherers, and they were brewing, which means grain may have been gathered for drink before bread. That idea is argued about and it isn't settled. So this is the moment everything changes. Alcohol was no longer an accident on the forest floor. And that is when the hangover became a regular event. In ancient Assyria, the remedy was ground up bird beaks, mixed with myrrh and then eaten. There is no reason at all why that would work. In Egypt, there was a festival built around drinking to collapse. So the morning after was not exactly a rare experience there. And Egyptian teachers wrote letters scolding their students for it. One tells a boy he was found lying in the street, unable to stand. 3,000 years ago, exactly the same argument. Then there's a Greek papyrus, about 1900 years old. Its cure for a drunken headache is to wear a necklace of laurel. That's the whole thing, wear the leaves, feel better. Pliny the Elder recommended a fried canary with salt and pepper. His other suggestion was raw owl's eggs taken in wine. And not one of these remedies did anything at all. Which raises a question, why did every culture keep doing it anyway? Because alcohol sits at the center of almost every early society. It gets poured out for gods and shared with total strangers. And one idea is that this sharing is exactly the point. Alcohol lowers your guard, it makes you talk, it makes you laugh. And it is very hard to fake sincerity when you are drunk. So drinking together became a way of proving that you meant it. You both walk away knowing something real about each other. Now that's a hypothesis, it is not a settled fact. But it does explain why the hangover never stopped anybody. And here is the uncomfortable part, there is still no cure. The only thing that clears alcohol out of you is your liver. And it works at its own pace. Coffee doesn't help nor a shower. Food helps but mostly before you drink, not after. So ancient humans did exactly what you did this morning. They drank water, they ate something, and they waited. You didn't pick this up, you inherited it. Your ancestors got the taste for this before they were human. Drink water, eat something, wait, it's still the only answer. And every remedy you have ever been told about is part of this too. They're the same guesses sauces the Romans made in newer packaging. 2,000 years of trying, and the answer has not moved at all. It's the oldest piece of advice we have, and it is still the only one. The headache is ancient, the regret though is all yours.